So yes, I'm vying for presidency next year, but I don't want to speak like a president. I want to speak like a parent, someone who has raised three daughters and a son that is almost a teenager now. I really think Kenya, and especially the national government, has given a raw deal to the young people. And I speak with a lot of pain because the youth make about, let's say, 70% or so of Kenya's population. But when a young person leaves high school or leaves college, it is one of the saddest things, to behold. Because take the example of those who drop out of school, or even just think about those who drop out of class 8 or form 4. So the question is, okay, you've given them an education, then what? What do they do with their lives? And the way our school system specializes on giving grades, you judge a young man or young woman by the performance in school. Then you condemn them because they got a C or they got a D plus or whatever. So you use that colonial system to judge these very intelligent, very talented young people. And I think we do wrong because we condemn them too early. But now let me turn to the college graduates because yani inaniumiza. It really pains me. There's a time I actually asked one of the taxi guys to come and pick me from the home. And I do that regularly to support them, but also because I like conversations. So here comes this young man, and he picks me to take me to town. And we get talking. This is an economics graduate. That is one. There was another one who was an agricultural graduate. He studied agriculture. Kabisa, Egerton University, somebody else at Moi University. So graduates resorting to drive what we call Wasili taxis in Eldoret, the equivalent of the Uber or Bolt. So every day, from morning to evening, they're literally, just taking people around to get to earn a living. But they have degrees. In fact, qualification. And I look at that and I say, any government that makes young people not exploit what they have studied is an irresponsible government. And that has to change. That has to change completely because we are ruining young people's lives too early. Too early. Just too early. And then now look at what the government does. It says kazi kwa vijana, kazi kwa vijana. But what are the vijanas doing? All these graduates and so on, being given trenches to dig, being given streets to clean, and you do all that. Yes, I mean, nothing wrong with work, but then they don't get paid. That's why I agree with the vijana when they say kazi kwa vijana, pesa kwa wazee, which is unacceptable. Yeah. It is unacceptable. Yeah. We can't agree. I mean, that should not go on. And I think one of the worst mockeries has been hearing about, all young people, graduates and so on with degrees being reduced to wheelbarrow drivers and, hustlers. I mean, where is the dignity of the youth? Where is the dignity of the youth? And that's why some young people are actually even afraid to get married. That's why, because they have to make a WhatsApp group and then ask their friends to contribute so that they can raise enough money to get married. That is unacceptable. What we need is dignity. Dignity of young people, and for them to have opportunities, for them to achieve serviceable, cheap loans that then they can open businesses or whatever. And I tell young people, if they will not hire you, hire yourself. But how do they hire themselves? If they have no loans, they have no access to financing and so on. So yes, I would like to run for president. But even if I never make it to be a president, we must give a better future to our young people. We must make them dignified. And I'm challenging young people to come on to Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and start talking about these things. Speak truth to power. Speak truth to your counties. Speak truth. to the national government and tell them enough is enough. We can't go on like this because we are destroying people's futures. And then, the government borrowing carelessly. Every young person in this country, I'm told, let's take the young children. Kila mtoto, they are born with a debt, madenia, like 120,000 Kenya shillings. I mean, we are ruining this country and we have to reset. We just have to start all over again and say no. And I appeal to young people especially. If you don't have a voter's card, get it this time. If you don't have an ID, make sure you get it. Let's vote this government out. Okay, I'm just turning 55 this year. Now, I know what it has been to be young, but I also know what it means to grow old without the kind of support systems that many of us have gone through. Tunadharauliwa, pesa zetu zinaibiwa, mpaka hata wanamuziki kama sisi, ma royalties zinaibiwa, So I'm basically saying, let's change government and let's give dignity to young people. All these things about talents and so on, let's get them early. Those that are struggling with drugs, let's take them to rehab or counseling services so that we have a better country that focuses on people, not on projects that people don't need. We really must change Kenya. We must reset this country so that it is good for everybody, not just for a few people. Hii Kenya ni ya kila mtu. Na hasa, if we don't take care of the youth, forget it. There's no country.